Now, according to the latest crime stats, there is a 109% increase in kidnappings nationally, with the biggest jump in Gauteng and Mpumalanga. 1,563 were reported in Gauteng, an increase of over 1,000 incidents. Kempton Park, Delmas and Heidelberg were the hotspots. Now, let's discuss this. We are now joined via Zoom by Bianca Van Aswegen, Missing Children South Africa's National Coordinator. Thank you so much for your time, Bianca. Your overall reaction, to the crime stats released today by the police minister. Of course, of concern are the murder, the rapes, and the kidnappings, increasing by over 100% for kidnaps.
Good afternoon. I actually think there's absolutely no words to describe this. It's absolutely disturbing and disgusting to know that this is what is happening to our people in South Africa. And we as an organization, we deal with these kidnapping cases. That is what we do. We assist with all missing persons cases. And the amount of kidnappings escalating yearly is really of a truly enormous amount, and it is absolutely devastating.
I mean, it's no wonder people say that, South Africa has a very lax approach when it comes to protecting children. And the irony, of course, is that this week is exactly that, in commemoration of protecting children. We are then failing our children, when you consider that there are policies aimed at protecting them, but these policies are not being enforced.
Yes, I mean, we've just had Child Protection Week. We're going into Youth Month now. But if we keep on getting these statistics that we are of our children being murdered the rate that they are, what youth and children are we going to have left for our future in South Africa? And that is really shocking. Everybody is talking about the stats. Everybody's talking about the kidnappings and the murders and everything that is happening in general regarding crime in South Africa. But who's standing up and doing something about it? That is the problem.
When you look at, just some of the breakdowns in terms of these statistics, particularly as it speaks to the kidnappings that have jumped by 109%, most of these kidnappings are robbery or hijacking related. Just talk to us about what you as an organization are seeing in terms of these trends. And more importantly, how can South Africans take back the power?
Yes, we need to keep in mind that kidnappings do happen for various reasons. So we deal with different kinds of kidnappings. We've got our parental abductions, opportunistic kidnappings. We've got ransom demand kidnappings that happen, and then also human trafficking. So yes, we have seen an increase in kidnappings where hijackings have been involved. We've seen an increase in ransom demand kidnappings. But something that is really concerning is the fact that we as South Africa has been declared as a human trafficking hub by the US Department of State. And that is really concerning, especially with COVID that has brought our country down to poverty. People have lost their jobs. They are desperate. So the situation has gotten out of hand. People are so desperate, they're falling for false job advertisements, false recruitment agencies, and people have become desperate. That is why ransom demand kidnappings have started to increase. The poverty that has stricken our country has made the crime even worse, and it is really disturbing.
Bianca, I mean, what are some of the interventions then that we can make as ordinary South Africans? I mean, just this week I was reading of a case where a mother was in a supermarket with both her children aged 6 and 3. The 3-year-old child was then taken by a security guard within that shopping center. The 6-year-old luckily saw that, and the mother got reunited with her daughter, a 3-year-old daughter, within minutes. That security guard has now been arrested. But those are some of the incidences that we are hearing, and the reality then speaks to these stats when they are released.
Definitely. And I mean, that happened in broad daylight in a public area, and that is even worse than having an isolated incident where someone has been kidnapped out of a parking lot where nobody saw anything. So we as South Africa, we as communities, we as parents need to be much more vigilant about our surroundings, where we take our children. We need to educate our children on how to keep themselves safe. We as South Africa need to stand up and make our voices heard, and that is what we as an organization is fighting for, is for the protection of our children in South Africa. But parents, communities, the whole of South Africa has the responsibility to keep our children safe. So parents need to be more vigilant about taking their children to shopping centers. If possible, rather leave them at home with someone that you do trust. Make sure that you've got dress them in brightly colored clothes, for instance, where you've got a young toddler, because children are quite inquisitive, so they will run off to the toy aisle without you even realizing it. It happens within seconds. So dress them in brightly colored clothes so they're easily spotted in a group of people. Make sure your children are taught the emergency numbers from a very young age. People are also more than welcome to visit our website. It's www.missingchildren.org.za. We've got some great safety tips there for parents and for children. And something that is very important, and that is to monitor your children's social media use. This is where predators also lure and groom our children over a period of time. And actually, as soon as that grooming stage is over and the trust is built, unfortunately, they end up meeting and the child disappears. So we urge parents to please monitor children's social media use. Even parents are at fault by tagging locations, putting photos up of their children in school uniforms and making them a potential target for these predators. So we need to be much more vigilant about all of these small things that could make such a big difference.
And what are the interventions that some social media, companies have introduced? I know that Facebook apparently has introduced the missing children's link as well. I mean, how effective are some of these tools? Because more and more you see when someone is missing, people rather come to social media, especially Twitter, than go to a police station, for an example, where in some instances, some police stations still insist, coming 24 hours later.
Yes. Firstly, let's start with the 24-hour. That does not exist. When a person or a child goes missing, it needs to be reported to your nearest police station immediately. There's absolutely no waiting period in reporting a person or a child as missing. If you go to a police station, they tell you to wait, please ask to speak to the station commander immediately, as action needs to be taken. And that is very important. But when it comes to putting out a post of a child or person that has gone missing on social media without actually going through the right channels, for instance, opening a case with the police, contacting us as an organization, you're actually putting yourself out there for an extortion case to happen. We've seen an increase in extortion cases of people putting out their own flyers of missing people with their personal numbers, and this is causing chaos. So that is why we as an organization exist, to assist the public, to help them and to create the awareness, and also assist the South African police services in whatever we can from our side in helping to find the person or the child that is missing. So it's very important to not put out your personal numbers or details on social media when a person or a child has gone missing. Please contact us at Missing Children South Africa. We've got the proper protocol and trained personnel to deal with these cases and to assist.
Bianca, thank you so much for your time. Very valuable and vital information that you're giving out to our viewers. Thank you so much for your time.